Welcome to the Harley Carnes podcast. Harley on the headlines. We're going to take a look at some of the stories of the day. Some are pretty big, as you know, and we'll have a little opinion, maybe here and there, not much. You know, the great thing is I never know what the day's going to offer. I mean, there are things in here that are surprising to me. Didn't expect to find them. Of course, there are some things we expected to. That's what the like and the follow and the subscribe functions are all for, is to get the word out, let people know that we're doing this and that we kind of have a good time doing it together. So, as you know already, we found a little word of mouth goes a long way to help us out. So we sure hope that that is what you will do. I appreciate it. Really do. President Trump, along with a cadre of highly impressive people, are in Beijing, hard at work. It's an astounding assemblage. In addition to key members of his cabinet, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, War Secretary Pete Hegseth, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and others in his administration, he's brought in 16 of the most powerful corporate CEOs in America. I'm going to give you the whole list so that you can get a picture of it in your mind. Apple's Tim Cook, NVIDIA's Jensen Huang, Elon Musk, Blackstone's Steven Schwarzman, Kelly Ortberg, CEO of Boeing, Larry Fink of BlackRock, Meta President Dina McCormick, Larry Culp, GE Aerospace, Citigroup's Jane Fraser, Sanjay Malhotra of Micron Tech, he's the CEO, Brian Sykes at Cargill, Cristiano Amon, or Amon, of Qualcomm, and Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon. Those people represent personal fortunes totaling nearly $1 trillion and corporations that control trillions in the U.S. and world economies. And you can bet they are all there in Beijing to do some business. They're not window dressing for President Trump. Some of them are Democrats and have opposed him in the past, but he is about getting things done, and so are they. It was interesting watching the welcoming ceremony last night. Highly impressive pomp and circumstance with very tight military precision and timing and size there in Beijing. And oh my God, the Great Hall of the People is a massive Communist Party showpiece that overlooks Tiananmen Square. It's a vast building connected to other buildings, a complex the size of 35 football fields. And it struck me while I was watching, it's an amazing symbol of Chinese government and power and pride, like 'em or hate 'em. And our Democrats are giving Trump shit over a freaking ballroom so that future presidents can at least have state dinners in style with world-class security instead of going to a hotel. What a contrast. Mr. Trump invited Xi to visit the White House. Guess they'll check out the Hilton when he's in Washington. I mean, really, it's disgusting, the toxicity and aggressive antagonism of Democrats in our government these days. Repugnant, really. One of the first items that came up, we're told, is President Xi telling Trump Taiwan is big and it's on the table and continuing to resist its absorption by China, I'm paraphrasing, could lead to conflict with the U.S. He said it pretty clearly. Trump is likely to have said something like, yes, it surely could, or something like that. And bang, they're off and running into some very contentious issues. And the intention is some equally exciting possibilities for trade and cooperation in other areas. Much more to come. On Iran, Xi agreed to 2 key points already. Iran should not have a nuclear weapon, and the Strait of Hormuz must be open. Now, how that's going to play out related to Chinese assistance in the matter, that's not clear. There is a new chairman of the Federal Reserve. Kevin Warsh has been confirmed by the Senate. He replaces the controversial Jerome Powell. The Senate vote was 54-45 with John Fetterman, the only Democrat in favor. That's illogical, of course, if the votes were based on qualifications, but that's politics, right? He has Fed experience, Warsh does, was one of the Federal Reserve's governors from 2006 to 2011. He has personal wealth, net of about $100 million plus, but says he will divest himself of most of it as testament to his intention to be independent of political and financial pressures. As for Jerome Powell, he has 2 years left as a governor of the Reserve Board from the Philadelphia Fed, and he plans to serve them, hopefully quietly. Another very important political redistricting is coming up. This is in Georgia. Governor Brian Kemp has called a special session of the state legislature to redraw the map. Republicans have the majority in Georgia, so a redrawn map is likely to result in better chances to elect an additional one or more Republicans to Congress. In states where Democrats have the majority, the same thing has been happening. Neither side likes it when the other side does it. But somebody made up a batch of partisan Kool-Aid a few years ago, and everybody drank it, evidently, and some have gotten drunk on it. In Mississippi, the governor says they'll hold up on redrawing the maps there until after the midterm elections. Cuba says it's out of gas, literally completely run out of fuels, oil, gasoline, diesel. It's desperate times for the Cuban people. The communists at the top of the island still live in luxury and plenty, but that's the way it works with tyrannical systems. Cuba blames the crisis on the Trump blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, and they'd probably be right. On the other hand, I wonder, has Cuba made a phone call to Washington or even Houston and asked, hello, do you Americans have any oil to sell? We're right around the corner. I mean, we're 90 miles away. We are buyers, and our supplier is kind of out of business at the moment. Yeah, well, has Cuba's fistful of rulers given any thought to making obvious changes that might release the grip that crushes the Cuban people, and has for decades? Evidently not. The sick pigeons of COVID may finally be coming home to roost where Anthony Fauci lives. A CIA veteran has testified at the Senate Homeland Committee that the Biden administration buried the truth about where the COVID virus originated, a lab leak from Wuhan, China. James Erdman, the CIA guy, was part of the intelligence community's investigation into the origins of the COVID virus, which was a manipulated version of the SARS-19 virus. We all know that now. They claim it started in bats, didn't hold water, though bats were likely deliberately infected with the man-made version in the Chinese lab during research. Fauci was allegedly instrumental in funding that research. That's also been divulged since then. Then he denied knowing anything about it. The CIA probe determined the virus started in the lab. Several times they investigated. Each time, that was the conclusion, which Erdman told senators the Biden administration covered up, hid it, and Congress was never told. There are calls once again for Dr. Fauci to face criminal charges for his part in the cover-up. We'll see where that goes. Hey, hats off to Sir Paul McCartney, who has decided, I don't do pictures. He even went into a lengthy explanation about why. First, he loves his fans, and they are legion to be sure. Paul is indelible. He's a musical savant, a superstar, and a good guy. But it becomes a bit too much, always presented with fans who want to whip around and take a selfie with the Beatle Wings solo superstar Paul McCartney. He said, down on the south coast of France, in Saint-Tropez, there's a man on the beachfront who has a monkey, and you pay to have your photo taken with the monkey. He said, I really do not want to feel like that monkey. I'm not me anymore. I'm suddenly something else when I stand there for pictures to be taken. So he is known for stopping to talk to fans, to be friendly, to give them the experience of being present with them, human contact. But let it be known, and don't get it twisted, Sir Paul just doesn't do pictures. And speaking of France, police, the gendarmes, have put out a warning for drivers in the Loire region where deer have been getting into the fermenting fruit that falls to the ground in the farm fields. In short, they get drunk. And a drunken deer really can't walk in a straight line. There's this video to sort of amplify that. That's one drunk deer, isn't it? I remember doing that when I was, 5, 6 years old, 7 maybe. Sometimes with friends, we'd spin around and round and round and round and round, and before long we'd fall over sideways. This deer's not done yet. He's trying to leave, but it's not an easy thing to do. All righty, I guess we've seen enough about that. Anyway, as the police put it, be on the lookout for inconsistent trajectory and disorderly escape. They said, if Bambi overindulges in a forest aperitif, it might not be the time to drive like you own the road. And so, mes amis, that ought to do it. And sorry for my bad French. Thanks for dropping by, for tuning in today. I sure hope you'll come back, bring some folks with you. You've given me a little bit of your time, and I appreciate it. Worth mentioning, we're found on Spotify, video, audio, as well as X and Facebook. I am Harley Carnes. Until next time, do yourself a favor. Make some good, conscious choices in your life. Make a decision to be happy and fly safe. It's the only way to get there. It really is.